He's a salesman. He's trying to sell the fight, which is good, you know. That's what he's known for. That's why they bring him out over and over. I'll show you in the ring why I'm the world champion. There's no off season. 4th of July, what are you gonna do 4th of July? I'm gonna go work out. On Christmas, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna work out. And you continue to work until you get that chance to fight for a championship belt.
Right now, we at the mouth check, but some hours in. He's fighting that. Got Dennis, Quiet Storm Thompson, he's fighting on the card. First 8-rounder. Got Ishmael Muhammad, Chef Muhammad. He fighting the week before in Philly.
Yo, catch it. Ah!
Boots can adapt to any style, any situation. You know what I mean? We don't have to work on nothing. I want to take Boots to another level. See, people still ain't see what really he can do. You know what I mean? You know, he can box, he can move, but he like to rumble. That's why people come to pay to see him. He like to fight.
Fire, stop.
Something for a belt or something like this. That drive me every day, you know, because I know, like, this is what I've been waiting for all my life since I've been an amateur. You know, I always wanted to turn pro since I was like 15, 14. I hated the amateur, so my dream and goal was when I was to turn pro, like, would win every belt, every weight division that I'm at, and we starting it now. So I'm gonna make them dreams come true. 10 years time, me a retired undefeated legend, chilling in my mansion in Jamaica somewhere.
As the biggest fight of their careers inches closer, Jaron "Boots" Ennis and Sebastian Fundora are locked in for a collision that could redefine the 154 pounds division. On the Porter Way podcast, Shawn Porter discussed a potential showdown between Sebastian Fundora and Jaron "Boots" Ennis, explaining that Fundora's recent performances have made him impossible to overlook. Porter believes the unified champion has proven he deserves to be viewed as a legitimate threat, and anyone expecting an easy night against him is underestimating the challenges he brings into the ring.
Let me try to explain that, right? So let's just for the sake of the analogy, it's like you see, and we'll use Jamie Foxx as an example. That's my guy. So let's say Fox is one thing on screen, and then off screen he's a completely different person. You just don't know, you know. So on screen, Boots looks like he's supposed to beat Sebastian Fundora because he's so fast, because he's so electric, because he's shown tremendous power, because he's shown so many different movements and techniques, and everything jumps off the screen when it's Boots Ennis. But then when you got, like I always like to say, another weapon standing across from you, negating some of the things you do, forcing you to turn off some of the stuff you do. Now here's the thing that makes this guy dangerous to boot.
Porter pointed out that appearances can be misleading when evaluating elite fighters. While Boots Ennis looks explosive, fast, and dominant on film, Porter argued that facing someone like Fundora is an entirely different experience. He explained that Fundora's unusual size, awkward style, and ability to neutralize an opponent's strengths can force even the most talented fighters to abandon their preferred approach and adjust on the fly.
What I feel I know about Boots, I don't know if they game plan. To me, it seems like Boots is like, and Dad Bozy, we just gonna get you ready. Can't nobody beat you. Well, sometimes you gotta get ready for the guy across from you. And what I now know about this dude, he getting ready for who's across from him. And that's why I'm breathing like that, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, he's going to be ready, he's going to have the right weapons, and he's going to be calling on the right weapons all night long. I have no doubt about that from this dude right here. And I know with all 16 plus weapons that Boots got, Boots be like this.
Yeah.
You know, you got to, nah, bruh. With this one right here, it's got to be, all right, shotgun. Don't do him. All right, stab him. All right, done. You know what I mean? Like, we got to be pulling out the right things at the right time. We got to be prepared to come to the ring with 8 weapons that we know we need against this dude, not 16 weapons because we got 16.
According to Porter, natural talent alone will not be enough to beat a fighter like Fundora. He stressed that success against the towering champion depends on having a disciplined and well-structured game plan designed specifically for his style. Rather than relying on every weapon in their arsenal, Porter believes a fighter must identify the right strategy and execute it consistently throughout the fight.
And to me, that's the difference between a Boots Ennis and a Sebastian Fundora. I don't know who will win that fight because all those weapons are amazing.
Yeah.
And at any point, any of those weapons could work against this dude. But this guy has the ability that I now know. He knows how to force you to turn off a lot of what you have. So I don't know. I don't know who wins that fight.
The discussion also highlighted the difficulty of preparing for Fundora's extraordinary height and reach. Porter noted that while sparring can help simulate certain aspects of his style, there is no true substitute for standing across the ring from someone with Fundora's physical dimensions. In his view, adapting to that advantage on fight night is one of the toughest tasks any opponent will face.
But like your point, off screen and on screen, then in person, you go, once it's fight night and he's across from you and throwing 60 punches, you go,
yeah,
that motherfucker is really tall.
Yeah,
he's really big,
and
it's different.
And you spar with heavyweights because they're that height, and you know, and it's just on fight night things are just a tad bit different. I will say this about Keith: I don't think he game planned for this fight.
Looking ahead, Jaron Ennis made it clear that his primary objective is becoming the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. He identified unified champion Sebastian Fundora and British contender Josh Kelly as 2 of the opponents he would welcome next, emphasizing that he is only interested in fights that move him closer to collecting every major title in the division.
I feel like the better the fighter is, the better I'm gonna be. You know, the sharper I'm gonna be. So, you know, I'm here to, you know, collect these belts, and you know, I want to be undisputed at 154, and I will be undisputed at 154. I ain't get to do it at 47. So, you know, the next best thing is you know, Fundora or, you know, Kelly. So and I feel like everybody want to see me and Fundora because he's a tall test.
On the other hand, Virgil Ortiz Jr. made it clear that he has no interest in taking easy fights, insisting that his goal is to face the division's toughest opponents. He specifically named Jaron Boots Ennis and unified champion Sebastian Fundora as the matchups he wanted most, saying those are the fights that will define his legacy and prove where he belongs among the sport's elite.
You are back. You are still undefeated. You are still a star. What do you want to do next?
Man, I just want the best fights, no matter who it is. Jaron Ennis, Fundora, anyone with the belt. You know, there's really not anyone in the top 10 that I haven't fought or that I haven't tried to fight. You know, at this point, you know, people just need to take the fights, you know, and a lot of people want to say, how come you haven't tried this route? You know, just because I'm not calling people out on social media like everyone else does doesn't mean I'm telling my manager, hey, let's make this fight. That doesn't mean I'm not talking to the WBC like, hey, how come we haven't made this fight happen yet? You know what I mean? Like we've done our part, you know. I'm not a very vocal guy. Well, I'm starting to be because I feel like I have to be.
Discussing potential future opponents, Ennis explained that he considers Sebastian Fundora a more demanding test than Virgil Ortiz Jr., while acknowledging Ortiz's ability. Boots believes Ortiz's straightforward style would play into his strength. In contrast, Fundora's exceptional height, reach, and awkward style present a more unique challenge, making that fight a higher priority in his pursuit of undisputed status.
Boots, do you see Fundora? Would you consider Fundora and Ortiz same level as Zayas, or do you think they're a step up?
To be honest, I think Zayas got a little bit more game to him than Virgil. You know what you're getting from Virgil. Virgil straight up and down. He gonna try to walk you down, and y'all know. Come on now, you can't just walk to me, cause I got heat. I got heat for you. So. And I think that make like people gonna say it's a tailor-made fight for me. You know, I feel like fighting a guy like Fundora, they're accepted more. You feel me?
Addressing the long-discussed matchup with Jaron Ennis, Ortiz revealed that he has repeatedly given his team the approval to make the fight happen. He suggested that the delay has not come from his side, implying that the opportunity has yet to be accepted by the opposing camp.
I've been pushing for the fight. You know, every time they ask me, I give them the green light. You know, it's only been one-sided green lights coming from out over here. The reason that the fight hasn't happened is simply because they haven't taken the fight.
As the interim WBC junior middleweight champion, Ortiz voiced his frustration with the lack of direction from the sanctioning bodies regarding a title shot against Sebastian Fundora. He explained that he is still waiting for clarity on when he will receive the opportunity to challenge for the full championship, expressing disappointment with the uncertainty surrounding the division.
And when, but it would seem that you are ahead of Ermal on those rankings there. What is your message to the WBC about your availability to fight Fundora as early as this fall?
Well, we already called Mauricio Solomon, and we've asked for this fight before. We asked for it when in person, when we met with Golden Boy. We were on the phone side by side with Golden Boy with Mauricio, and we asked for the fight. I am also not going to pretend I know how it works either, because I thought that if you had the interim, you were next in line. So, I mean, I'm just as confused as everybody else.
When you talked to Mauricio about that, what was his response?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even really understand it, because and it's not. I don't know whose fault it is. Is it my fault? Am I just dumb? Or, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't get it. For me, it's simple. I have the interim, I should be in line, right? It's not, I want to stay interim forever, right? Like, I want my shot. I really honestly don't get it. I just don't.
Providing insight into the negotiations, Eddie Hearn revealed that both camps had already agreed on the basic framework for a potential showdown between Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr. According to Hearn, Ennis officially signed a contract based on those agreed terms. However, after his team communicated their intended timeline for the fight, discussions unexpectedly came to a halt, with the opposing side no longer responding and negotiations failing to progress.
We, just to make it clear on Virgil Ortiz, we sat in a room, me, Oscar de la Hoya, Eric Gomez, and the top DAZN execs in America. We talked about how a deal would work with those two fighters, and we agreed on a deal. We went away, we signed a new deal with Boots. Part of that deal within the contract was the deal that we agreed with Golden Boy and DAZN to fight Virgil Ortiz. Boots signed it. Now, we didn't hear anything back. We told them we're going to fight in October. They said they're going to fight in November. And we haven't heard anything back.
Adding further context to the situation, Ennis firmly denied claims that his team had ever avoided Virgil Ortiz Jr. He insisted that they actively pursued the matchup when both fighters were campaigning at welterweight. Recalling conversations from several years ago in which Ortiz's camp believed the fight would happen later in both men's careers, Ennis argued that the history of those discussions directly contradicts any suggestion that Team Ennis was unwilling to face Ortiz.
But, like Boots was telling me, man, they was running him out saying certain things about this and that. But like I told him, we've been wanting to fight Virgil at 147. And back then, that was like, 3-4 years ago? Back then, they were saying 3-4 years down the line, they was going to be able to fight us. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and that's what they were saying. Oh, yeah, your father's. I never really talk about nobody ducking and all that stuff. But if you want to talk about somebody ducking, I'll tell them in a minute. You know what I mean? I said, they don't look like we ducking. Yeah. You know what I mean? We were trying to fight all them guys at that time. And everybody knew about that time, but they must forget about it.
Despite feeling that he has been overlooked for major opportunities throughout parts of his career, Ortiz remains confident that his best years are still ahead of him. At 28 years old, he believes he is entering his prime and is determined to secure the high-profile fights that will define his legacy, regardless of the obstacles or political challenges that stand in his way.
It's more or less the same climate, if I'm being honest. I just feel like I'm just knocking on the door of one of those big fights, and I'm waiting on those opportunities. So that's exactly where I was 2 years ago. You know, I don't know. I feel like I'm almost like blacklisted in a way. You know what I mean? That's how I honestly feel, you know? When Madrimov had won his WBA title, I believe I was number 1 and I should have fought him next. Obviously I beat him, right? But Crawford got to jump the line from 147, you know, being undisputed, and he got to win the title. Well, obviously from my point of view, that seems a little unfair. You know, I could have had that title. And I don't know. Like in Sergio Mora's words, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? So
Sebastian Fundora believes that he remains interested in facing the top contenders at 154 pounds. He specifically mentioned Jaron Ennis and Virgil Ortiz Jr. as opponents he would welcome, suggesting that one of those high-profile matchups could potentially take place early next year.
So, the division's heating up a little bit. So there's you, Josh Kelly, and now Boots with the belts. Out of those two, who would you want to fight first?
I'll bring whoever, man. We were in talks for Josh Kelly, but Josh Kelly wanted to fight in July in England and all these things, so that fight fell off. But I mean, by the time Boots became unified champion, we already had this fight lined up with the mandatory. So, but I like both of those fights. I like both of them. Next year, yeah. Well, we've always been like the past 4 years. Been fighting in March. I'll see you guys in March. Hit me up. I'll see you guys in March.
Discussing Sebastian Fundora's place in the junior middleweight division, Chris Algieri described the towering champion as one of the sport's most difficult stylistic puzzles. He pointed to Fundora's exceptional height and reach while noting the steady improvements he has made since his victory over Brian Mendoza. According to Algieri, Fundora has become a more disciplined fighter, making better use of his jab and avoiding the unnecessary risks that once left him vulnerable.
Fundora is such a difficult puzzle. He's so long, and he's getting better. He's improving. He's improving. He's learning how to use his size. He's using his jab. He's being more disciplined. He's not taking risks like he used to. Talk about a guy who used to allow people to hit him and then has figured out that you shouldn't do that at the highest level in that Brian Mendoza fight. But since then, he's been very, very good. So, yeah, I can understand why people would see him as the final guy because, again, with those physical advantages and the way that he's getting better, very, very difficult to deal with.
Tim Bradley also praised Sebastian Fundora, expressing admiration for both his accomplishments and the journey that brought him to the top of the division. Bradley believes Fundora has become such a dangerous opponent that many contenders are reluctant to face him right now. In his opinion, some fighters may be waiting for signs of decline before pursuing a fight rather than taking on the unified champion while he is still at his peak.
I got nothing but love and respect for him because that man is from around my way. He's from around my way. He from the valley. I got nothing but respect for Fundora. They see the danger in fighting him right now. He's hot right now.
Chris Algieri also addressed Virgil Ortiz Jr.'s recent inactivity, suggesting that extended time away from the ring could become a concern in such a competitive division. He pointed to dangerous contenders like Josh Kelly as examples of the high-level opposition waiting for Ortiz, emphasizing that every fight at 154 pounds presents a significant challenge. With so many talented champions and contenders in the division, Algieri believes the only way to determine the true best fighter is through the elite matchups fans have been calling for.
Virgil, the inactivity really worries me because you got sharks circling. And Jaron, with the level of talent he has, he can beat anybody on any given night. So, yeah, it's a really interesting time. And then even like I got another titleist, Josh Kelly. Yeah. Very, very difficult style. And he knows what he is, he knows what he isn't. He will fight his fight. So he's a disciplined guy. He's got a lot of heart. He showed that in the Murtaza Liev win. So yeah, it's a lot of very good champions at 154. We got to see how they all match up because boxing math doesn't work.
Building on the discussion, Tim Bradley expressed strong confidence that Jaron "Boots" Ennis would defeat Virgil Ortiz Jr., believing the outcome would be just as convincing as Ennis's victory over Xander Zayas. Bradley argued that Zayas lacked the elite speed, power, and overall skill needed to truly trouble Ennis. He also explained that Ennis often allows opponents to test him early, using the opening rounds to measure their power before making adjustments, taking control of the fight, and systematically breaking them down.
He gonna cook Ortiz just like he just got done cooking Zayas. Look, man.
But that was expected, though.
Listen to me.
You're talking about Zayas, a guy that isn't known for his punching power at all. That was
or his speed,
or
really his skills. He checks boxes at a decent level, but not at an elite level.
But the thing is that he didn't feel the pop. You got to understand that about Boots. Boots is willing to take yours to get his, and it's a trap, right? A lot of his flows, but I'm just telling you that I know it's not always a good thing, but it works for him, and I think that he fights off of feeling. That's what it is. It's feeling. You understand that, right?
Looking at the matchup from a broader perspective, Max Kellerman believes Jaron Ennis would deserve to enter the fight as the betting favorite because of his advantages in height, reach, athleticism, and defensive skills. However, Kellerman stopped short of calling it a one-sided contest, describing it as a genuine 50-50 fight. He pointed to Virgil Ortiz Jr.'s stronger resume and his impressive victory over Israil Madrimov as evidence that Ennis would face one of the toughest challenges of his career and would need to earn every bit of success inside the ring.
The taller, longer fighter with the better defense should be favored, and that's Boots, right? Because generally, that guy wins those fights. But it's a different thing than actually going out and beating Virgil Ortiz and doing it in style. If he
especially
fights
in that type of manner.
Who should be the favorite in that fight, Shady?
I'm going with Boots.
Favored.
Yeah.
He should be the betting favorite.
Yes.
I think this is a genuine coin flip fight. I really do. And I think we have to remember that Virgil Ortiz has fought the much better competition.
That's true.
He beat Israil Madrimov, very quality win. Madrimov gave Crawford all he could handle.
This fight happens and Boots wins a close, tough fight. Then he is at least what we think.
Sharing his assessment of the potential matchup, Robert Garcia praised Jaron "Boots" Ennis for overcoming adversity in his recent fight and finishing strongly, saying the performance highlighted both his resilience and fight-changing power. Even so, Garcia admitted he would lean slightly towards Sebastian Fundora, believing the unified champion's towering frame, awkward style, and unique physical advantages make him one of the toughest fighters in the division to solve. In his view, those attributes could create significant problems for Ennis over the course of the fight.
They talked about Boots and Fundora already kind of negotiating for October, November. What does the fight look like in the ring, and who do you kind of pick in that one?
Well, look, Boots looked great, strong, got stunned but came back and still a couple rounds later finished the fight, so that shows a lot about a fighter, his heart, his power. So gotta respect him and gotta give him credit. Against Fundora, man, I think it's tough, man. Fundora has a style that it's not gonna make you look good. I would say I favor Fundora on that one, man. That's not going to be easy for Boots because styles make.
If you enjoyed this breakdown, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest boxing news, interviews, and fight analysis.